Hi, beautiful people. We're in for a treat. We are in for a beautiful treat. Go. Oh, lovey. All right. So before we introduce our wonderful person, I need to warm you up.
If it's magic,
if you can name the tune,
then why can't it be everlasting?
Then you win a trip to Hawaii.
Like the
for two.
sun that always shines.
Anyone?
Like the poets in this rhyme.
Hey, chef. All right, we'll warm it up a little.
Can it be never
Stevie Wonder, If It's Magic.
like the day
Very appropriate. Deb D, Chef Jakin from Australia. We got two Australians here.
it fills you up without a light.
Let a few more people come on.
Quenches
Every third.
in danger from a child.
No one gets the trip to Hawaii.
Holds the key to every
Name the artist. Ticket to Hawaii. Universe.
it fills
All right.
you up.
Production team are on vacation, so I'm on my own. Anyway, that was Stevie Wonder, If It's Magic. Welcome to my beautiful people. We are in for magic tonight. So let me get right to it. Why are we talking about magic? You're going to find out. I have cheat sheet. So I'm about to introduce the beautiful Deb D. She's an Australian. I'm not going to do the accent. Dingo ate my baby. I'm not going to do that. She lived in Trinidad, Tobago. But we're going to learn all about her tonight. So Deb D is a storyteller, a healer, and a spiritual guide. Through her writing, teaching, and speaking engagements, she guides people through the layers of grief and help people to ease their hurt and learn what is possible when a broken heart repairs and a soul expands in the lessons of love. I mean, heart repair. First time I ever heard that was with her. Heart repair. Oh. Deb D has practiced and taught spiritual development and healing practices for over 25 years and takes great delight in activating magic in others. The core of Debra's work is in heart repair and the transformation from big life loss to big life magic. Just think about those words, transformation of big life loss to big life magic. Her expertise lie in being a Reiki master, meditation, intuition teacher, a grief guide, Jody in the house, oracle and energy reader, we all love our oracle cards, and a master storyteller. Right up my alley. Deb is the author of a series of Surrender, which I'm going to read a little bit from, a memoir of grief. In 2023, Debra will be writing and crafting her second book, Surrendering to Magic. Without going much further, I want to let you know that this beautiful woman experienced grief on a very deep level, and I see some of you beautiful people, and I know the grief that you've gone through. Deb D lost her father, her very first lover, and her beautiful son. Her beautiful son, Sage, who suddenly died from a mysterious illness that they couldn't figure out in a very short time, a month before his 11th birthday. And all of this happened in a short period of time. We're going to learn from her and her journey, but let me just read you this. I love the book. I highly, highly recommend it. And if you're landing here and you're like, who the hell are you? Well, I'm Di, and this is Chatting with Di. And I interview people who teach me, inspire me, and make me laugh. One or all three. Deb D is all three. Definitely my teacher. Okay, you might need tissue. So, grief for me has been a series of surrender. Think about that. When you relax with her, I love how she calls grief a woman or feminine. When you relax with her, grief will show you tenderness. She will become one of my friends. She has become one of my friends. Grief can only be felt if love is there first. The trouble with grief is you cannot make new memories. You can't put her to bed and check to see if her homework is done or ensure enough vegetables are eaten. Grief will not walk you down the aisle on your wedding day or hold your children when they are born. But grief will sit with you and remind you that you love. I gotta repeat that. Grief will sit with you and remind you that you love. Lessons in love are taught every day, and I am learning to turn off the class and be open to all the lessons. All the way from Paris. You know about grief, my love. You know about grief. Anyway, lessons in love are taught every day, and I'm learning to turn off the class and be open to the lessons. I forever hold faith in my heart for Nick, her lover, my father, Colin, and her son, Sage. I forever hold faith, and I thank them for their time and their gift that they granted me in this earth time and through spirit in the time that passes beyond a death. I mean, I could read each sentence 3 times and still get more each time, but I'm going to bring her on in a short while. So I am thankful that some lessons and wisdom were granted before Sage passed, so that I could be in earth time with him and enjoy the deepening of our love and understanding. Some days I am sad that so much of my learning has come due to the shift taking place after Sage left. I wish I had known more when in early grief of Nick and my father. I remind myself that we can only ever know what we know when we know it, right? And when we are ready to receive the lesson. I've got to do that one more time. I remind myself that we can only ever know what we know when we know it, and when we are ready to receive the lesson. On those days, I remind myself that I am still with the 3 men of many lessons, the 3 men that she lost, and they are with me. We have simply moved away from each other and into different classrooms. I now know that I am healed and healing in my own way, perfect and imperfect, all at once. Rather than wishing my scars away, I see them and allow them to be. I surrendered the need to do the perfect job of grief and let my loss take a rest on the beach. Sure, some days I can do grief damn well, and other days I really suck at it. Ah well, so be it. I surrender. The only way to get out of grief is to be the one who dies first. To be human is to love, and to love opens us up to the inevitability of loss and grief that comes. And how do you hold these stories for each other, for ourselves? In truth, production team, in truth, grief invites love stories, and love is on the top of the list. So, I think I can do this. Dee, who wrote that gorgeous book, and she declined. Well, mighty ho, she declined. All right, Deputy, you declined, so that means you gotta come out and then come back in and hit request to join. And then I can invite you. But you declined me. Okay, let me see. Et voila. Et voila. Et voila.
I made it.
Yeah.
I made it.
I love it when we get it right. Isn't it silly?
You know
But I
what
always
it
get
was?
excited.
It was one of those magical moments where we both pushed at the same time, so we funked each other out.
It was like an ET moment. Phone home. Oh, welcome, my beautiful queen. You look gorgeous. I have Chef Jake, and I think he's still here. Remind me where in Australia you are from. You are from?
Born in Sydney, but most of my family now live in Brisbane, up in Queensland. And that's where I spent a long time, in Queensland.
And Chef Jakin or Rita or anyone, remind me where Chef Jakin's from. I think he's from Sydney, but anyway.
I mean, it's all
Hi,
beautiful.
It's all beautiful. You're beautiful. Hi, love.
Oh, I tell you, it was so nice to receive you reading my book, because that part of the book, I haven't actually connected to that part of the book for a long time. And it was nice to actually receive it for myself, to be reminded again.
I told everyone to bring tissue, and I think I need them. When I love a book, and I loved your book, I think I devoured it after we met. I got it right away, and I think I devoured it in 3 days. But I do Audible, and I read, and I have all the little things and all the markers because I love hearing your voice. And so when I was preparing for this chat, I was trying to think of what I wanted to read. And that was, I could read those 2 pages every day and still learn something new.
And, when I remember writing those pages, because I remember, this, like, it's all sitting in front of me. It's like, how do you bring this baby home? How are we going to land this plane? Because I was really clear when I was writing the book, and, even before I was writing the book, I was really clear that this is a gift to all hearts. It's a gift for others to be able to, through the stories, reflect on their own relationship to grief or loss or the things that haven't worked out for them. And my hope was, and I do receive this from readers and listeners, my hope was that it would be like a catalyst to open up a new space where you could be in a new dynamic with grief, with loss, rather than what we normally do, which is push away, deny, bury, any of those normal, this is the human move to make. I was like, how can I actually invite a different relationship here? Because this is what I say, Di. I think grief should be invited to the party. She's never on the invited guest list. And I think that that's wrong. I think grief should be invited to the party. Grief wants to be with us on the dance floor.
God, I love you. I think I told you I'm writing a book, and I think it could take 5-10 years. I don't know, but it's on grief. And it's called Goodbye Hello, and it's how we learn to develop new relationships with the ones we've lost. And it's going to be stories of 5 that I've lost, dedicated to my father. But I'm going to invite people like you and Chef Jakin to share their story of grief. Before we get to the questions, I really honestly, I used to be terrified of my dad dying. I used to hyperventilate. And I had like 3 or 4 people that came in my life that I cared for that died, and I felt like they were my teachers. So that when my dad died, it was like, okay. I wasn't hyperventilating.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so let's have some fun.
Yes.
So I think you heard the intro, and so I'm going to begin with your beautiful beautiful boy, Sage. So as a single mother, your beautiful son and your greatest love, Sage, suddenly died when he was just shy of 1 month turning 11. From a crazy, mysterious illness that no one knew what it was. Even though I am not a mother, I cannot imagine the level of grief. So what do you want us all to learn from what you've discovered on this journey, and a very layered journey it is?
There's so much that I have learnt. But what I'm inspired to share right in this moment is kind of like the opening of the learning for me. So what happened, like in the days that followed Sage's death, so, spoiler alert, I do tell you this in the book, I woke up one day and Sage didn't. He had died in his sleep, and there was no warning. We didn't even know there was an illness. And so, my world just, in a moment. And what happened in that was, for me, it felt like there was a massive opening. So my heart absolutely shattered. But my soul was just like, all right, here we go. And there was parts where things slowed down, and there were parts where things I needed to know dropped in. Like, I am eternally thankful that I stayed with Sage's body to pray with him and to sing and to call out to my father to say, please be there, to welcome him. These are like the balms for myself. I'm so thankful that I made the choice in the first couple of days to welcome family and friends into my home so that we could share this together. And I am outrageously appreciative of a moment when I'm on my kitchen floor. There's people milling and seething all around my house and my garden. Sage has been gone maybe 3 days. And I'm on my kitchen floor because that's where I've landed. Like, my legs just gave away and I just am on the kitchen floor. But I wasn't like uncontrollably sobbing. It was just like the weight of it all was too much, and I just kind of like melted onto the floor. And then there was this moment of like melting, like something came through the layers. And it was this curiosity. It was, what's possible here? Like, I know a lot about spiritual practice. I know a lot about healing. I have already worked through my father's loss, my first love's loss. I've worked with so many people. Is this going to be enough? Is this going to give me the pathway to surviving, and do you thrive? And what's possible here? And it was this curiosity that opened, this willingness to be in the discovery. And, to be clear, because I like to make this clear, it wasn't like, oh, and then it's a discovery and curiosity, and I go skipping around the world and I find all the answers. I'm calling no the yes on that narrative, and I do, and this is what I share also in the book. It's like there's twists and turns in your pathway from big life loss to big life magic. But there's so many amazing twists and turns that I found, because when your heart is shattered open, broken open, it is impossible for you to close it. So your heart is open. Sure, it really hurts, but it's a massive heart opening opportunity. And for the soul, I believe our soul is anchored into our heart space. That's our connection, spiritual being, earthbound experience right now, this classroom, earth, cosmic classroom. Your soul is anchored into your heart. So when your heart shatters open, your soul's like, yes, I'm out. This is fertile ground. And the soil is turned up. The fertilizer is there. And this is where we get to choose. What are we going to plant in that soil? What's actually good for us, earthbound, for our heart repair? And Where is our soul directing us? What's possible?
I just want to recognize that Jody just wrote a note. Jody, a friend and a fellow mother who lost tragically her child, and so she is a beautiful mother of a family learning how to live with that. And I'm hoping tonight, Jody, that you get a little bit of comfort from Debra's beautiful words. And we hold both you, Mother Care, and any other one that's going through grief. I think everyone that checked on here, I know everyone is going through grief, whether it's a lover or a mother or a friend. Before I go to the next question, I have to tell you, Debra, that word curiosity is not one that if you asked me 5 years ago that I would associate with grief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's actually perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's so perfect.
It's a part of the choreography moves of grief.
Choreography move. Oh, girl.
You know?
Yeah. And it gets choreography if you're willing to partake, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So let's continue on. Life of Magic. I love that you have a book that is all about transformation of big life loss to big life magic. Like, who would ever think? And so, after your losses, you wrote a beautiful book, which everyone needs to run and get or do the Audible, called A Series of Surrenders. And you built a business called Big Life Magic, transforming big life loss to big life magic. The work includes moon magic, heart repair, I mean, that's my favorite, and meditations, and more. Big Life Magic offers one-to-one intuitive guidance, as well as a virtual community called the Big Life Magic Makers, which I'm a part of. Deb D offers diverse training on spiritual practice, moon circles, oracle card reading, foundation work of her foundation work is in the heart repair and the transformation from the big life loss to big life magic. I mean, it all just sounds amazing, and it feels like a warm blanket. So what, my darling, does heart repair mean to you? And how can we, all the 9 million followers here, create a life with big life magic when we're in grief?
Again, layered, beautiful questions that I love to answer these questions, because this is the curiosity, isn't it? It's like, how is it possible?
We're all
How is that
showing
possible?
up with it, yeah.
Yeah. So I say I call them the 4 Ds of big life loss, and I believe we're all going to meet at least one: death, divorce, diagnosis, or the dream that doesn't come true. We'll all meet at least one, and it's soul designed because our hearts break so our souls can bounce. So that's kind of like the meta version of what's going on here. The idea of big life loss to big life magic actually happened in this moment. It was maybe 3 months after Sage had died, and I was away about 3 hours north from where I'd lived with Sage in a small little fishing town. A good friend of mine had a holiday house there. Her and her family had a holiday house there that they'd rent out, and it was empty. So she said, if you need somewhere to go, you can go there. And I was like, I need somewhere to go. I just need to be on my own. So I went to this odd little town on my own, and I spent almost 2 weeks there. 12 days I was there on my own, meditating, writing, crying, down at the water. Just I was in it. And one day I'm walking towards the seaside, and I've got my music in my ears, and Claire Bowditch, who is an amazing singer-songwriter, Australian, check her out if you don't know who Claire Bowditch is. Love her work. She has this song, and the lines sing directly in my ears, come down, anchored into my heart, and I was like, she's singing to me. And the line was, I will not live a little life. And I heard it and I was like, that is right, Claire. I don't know what's going on. And I know I'm deep in this and I can barely see steps in front of me, but I know I'm on the journey. And I hear you and I say yes, because I felt it anchor in. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I know from this moment on, there is no little life. Like I'm not working through this just so I can be a little bit better. I'm like, no, I'm working through this because on the other side of this is the magic. Like they tell you, like, you've got to go through it, you know, journey through, like all of that, all the cliches around grief. I felt like I was a walking cliche for months, right? And I was like, no, I'm going to put these in practice. And so I heard this from Claire, anchored into my heart, and I was like, that's right. I'm going for big life. That's where I'm going. How I'm going to get there, I'm not so sure. I did find it step by step, journey by journey, magic activation by magic activation, surrender by surrender. But that's where big life loss came from. It's this moment of this loss is not going to be the sum total of me. I am still here for a reason. And again, I don't know what that is now. My heart's broken. My son's gone. I desperately miss hugging him. All of the things. I'm angry at angels. Why did you take my baby away? Like I was in it, but I could see this clarity of, again, this curiosity further down the path. There is something there. I'm just going to keep moving towards it and keep affirming to myself, I will not live a little life.
So for anyone that might be on here, the 9 million followers, if they were in the beginning of a grief and their legs are buckled and they're lying on their kitchen floor, what would you say would be the first step for them to do?
I would say do what I did, which is the first step beyond the curiosity. I made 3 promises to myself. I'm not saying you have to make 3, but you make a commitment to yourself. So my 3 promises were, I will always wish the best for myself. I will go through this, not under, not over, but through. And I will go to the scary places if they present as the best option for me. And I made a commitment that this is how I'm going to be moving forward. I will always wish the best for myself. I will go through this. I will go to the scary places. And I needed to return to those promises to myself often, especially the I will wish the best for myself. Because, you know, there's moments there where I was floating down the river of wine because that's what I needed then. And then I needed it, and then I didn't need it so much anymore, and I'm still in the river. To the point where you ask yourself one day, Deb, is this actually wishing the best for yourself? No, it's not. Get out of the river. And other things, other, you know, moments where the anger was like pulsing through me. And I found I couldn't be angry at the people around me, so I chose to be angry at angels because it was their fault. And then it got to the point where it just felt so heavy and I missed my angels. So I was like, this isn't wishing the best for me. This holding on to this anger, it's not that. So again, it returned me back onto the path from this loss to magic. So anybody who, and die, it may be someone who the loss is fresh, or it may be somebody who is lost inside their loss. That can happen. You lose your way, and maybe the loss happened a year or 2 ago, but you still actually don't feel better. You haven't actually get through. Sometimes
I'm not, I'm not hearing you. Yeah, I don't know if you have a
oh,
microphone. I lost you for a minute. So lost in their own loss.
yeah. This happens
Wow.
to a lot of people, getting lost inside the loss.
It's like they're locked in there with a key.
Yeah, or they threw the key away at some point, or they don't
Yeah.
even realize there is a key.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably very dangerous to be in that place.
It's also, yeah, it can be dangerous depending on your loss moves. Like, are you in a move where it is the squashing down, like the drinking or the shopping or the overworking, like the thing that's going to be too much to cover over the fact that there's not any
Yeah.
foundation underneath you. And sometimes people get lost inside their loss, and what it means is they start to ask themselves, am I depressed? Why am I so anxious? Or why do I just feel like I just can't really connect to any of my friends, and there's no intimacy between me and my partner? Like, they start asking these questions, seeking the answer, and not realizing the answer is you haven't actually worked on your heart repair. The grief is still calling for your attention. So you're not depressed, you're not anxious, you're not suddenly cold and unable to connect. You're still grieving. And your heart is calling.
That's beautiful. Jody mentioned that it can really take a lot of time and trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as you're trying to like, well, maybe this will make me feel better, or maybe I'll be okay. And it is really a trial and error, right?
And it can be really isolating, which is why in my journey along the way, there's moments where I chose to be on my own, like the story I told about when I went to the seaside. There's other times I was in meditation in Sri Lanka. There's other times I was in Indonesia. Like, I could go on and on with the times when I knew what I need is to actually come into being on my own so I can hear myself, earthbound me and spiritual me. And there's absolutely times in the journey where I needed another pivotal moment in my journey where, like whether it's a meditation teacher in Sri Lanka or an amazing psychotherapist who's also a hypnotist in Australia that really helped me transform some trauma printing. Like, that's the moment when you surrender to, I'm lost or I'm stuck in this moment, in this part of the magical map. I'm stuck here. I'm not lost. I know exactly where I am, but I can't get unstuck.
Yeah.
So this is where somebody else or a healing or creative process will
help you.
Yeah.
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 So you, if we can't tell, you grew up in Australia. In the 1970s, large connected family and loving family. You were one of 7 children, and you grew up in a Catholic family like me. But when you were young, very young, you knew that you were connected to spirit. So what was that like as a young girl? And can anyone be intuitive? And if so, what is the very first lesson that we need to know?
I don't remember being intuitive when I was young. What I do remember, and I found this through hypnosis, actually, before Sage died, because I was curious around the floodgates of my intuition.
You're knowing, yeah.
My knowing, I was, because I rediscovered it when I was 19. So I explored it, and what I found was me sitting on a bed when I was about 3 or 4, softly crying and saying to my spirit friends, you need to go away because you're getting me in trouble.
Oh my God.
Like, I wanted to be a good girl.
Yeah, and that was a bad girl if you had people talking to you.
No, it was the adults around me die.
On the way, we've got another Australian. Everyone's saying hi to Major. Major, this is my girlfriend, Australia. Deb D, tell Major where you're from.
Born in Sydney, but my family's up in Brisbane now.
Major is 11-year-old chef and one of my favorite people on the
I
planet.
remember the chatting with Di with, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
So we're in a question about intuition, Major. So you got that message. Well, you heard it later that they were saying, go away. I don't want to hear the voices.
No, it was more.
Okay.
It was the adults around me that were confused and scared, and they were trying to protect me.
Yeah, I mean they didn't know.
They didn't know.
It's not like we
and
talked
then,
about this.
And then they have a daughter who's telling them things that are going to happen tomorrow, and then it comes true. Like I asked my mother about it, and she said, well, it was kind of freaky, but at some point you just stopped. Right?
Her mother's gonna come on. Well, we didn't have a guidebook, right? Back then, you didn't, and if you grew up in a Catholic family, then that was Major's mother's here from Australia. Christy, remind me where you're from in Australia. My girlfriend Deb D is from Australia. All the Aussies here, and I think Chef might still be on. Anyway, Christy, remind me where you're from in Australia. So what can anyone be an intuitive, and if they can, what would be they're in Melbourne. What would be
Melbourne.
What
That's
would
where Sage was born, in Melbourne.
Oh, yay, her son was born in. What would be the first thing if someone was like, I kind of feel like I'm getting messages? What would be the first lesson or recommendation that you had for them?
First thing I want everybody to breathe in and know as an absolute truth, everyone is intuitive. We all are. And it's a part of it's one of our senses. It's like if you're walking the earth with a beating heart, you have intuition. Full stop.
I love that.
And what we work to do is to tune the listening. Because for some people, it's like the radio station's just gone out of dial, you can't quite hear what they're saying. For some people, they've just turned that volume all the way down, so they're actually not hearing anything. But we'll say it. You'll say, like, I've got a gut feeling about this. That's your intuition. I could go on and on, but, pick up any of those lines. We've all got it. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to actually bring intuition into your life and have it as one of your senses, not just sight, smell, all the others, but have it as one of your senses that actually guides you and supports you. First thing you got to do is you got to believe it and claim it.
Yeah, it's exactly what Christy from Melbourne said. You got to trust it.
Yeah, but you got to build trust, because we spend a lot of time in a world where we're taught not to trust it. So we build the trust, we build the listening. Like in the Big Life Magic Makers, which is the virtual community that I get so much joy from, so much joy. It's the virtual community for people who are magic curious, and they may be transforming a loss in their life, or they may just be somebody who wants to be more connected to the universe. But the Big Life Magic Makers, we are a virtual community, and every season we have a theme. So we're just wrapping up the theme on heart magic, heart repair and soul magic and that relationship. And the next season we're moving into 3 months, all about the intuition. So over 3 months, I'm going to be teaching within the community, and we're going to be at Magical Play, and there's going to be different activations around how do you tune this intuition? And for those people who are like, but I want to do something now, Deb D, then what I invite you to do is, however you relax and start to kind of feel joyful or easy to smile, whatever that is for you, do that with no expectation.
I love that.
So my intuitive tuning that I do daily here on the island of Tobago is I walk the sand beside the Caribbean Sea. And I get so much joy from the smells and the sounds. And my task while I'm doing that is just to open and allow, watch everything around me. It calms my nervous system. It lowers my resistance. And I'll tell you, all the blog posts, everything I teach in the Magic Maker community, I could, all the things, they just arrive at the beach because I'm open to receiving. But we need to learn to be open to receiving. And so the first thing that you do is you first, number one, claim it. I'm intuitive. I just either gone off channel or turned the volume down or lost my trust, whatever it may be. But you just claim I'm intuitive. And then you figure out, what am I going to repeat daily if you can? It just helps me to open and relax. Whatever that is for you. I believe for you, Di, it's probably dancing. I've seen you on a dance floor.
Yeah, I transform two places for me. Definitely anything with music, and I dance every morning on my own in my pajamas. But the water, the water. My good friend John died of pancreatic cancer, and I knew he was going to die, and I told my husband, I said, when John goes, I need to find a place that I feel safe, that has water, that I can walk and cry and dance, and not too many people. And I went to St. Martin, and it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And I meditated, and I cried, and I prayed, it's that feeling of your feet in the water.
Yeah.
It really,
is.
and also the quiet, like people. I don't like people, like no people, until like 4 o'clock when I went to a dance party, and then I could deal with it. But okay, next question, because I know I want to respect your time. Healing fully, living freely. So in my own life and my own healing journey, I've created a program called Healing Fully and Living Freely. What does that mean to you today?
So when I talk about the energetic heart, which is what we heal when we're working through this big life loss to the big life magic, when we actually work with healing practices and saying yes to the grief and working with the loss, not just trying to get through it or push it away, that to me is healing fully. And it takes some time. We can't rush, and you don't actually end this journey. It just folds into the next layers. So like healing fully is actually saying yes to the full experience of being human, which means I'm going to fall in love and I'm also going to be hurt by love. I'm going to lose and I'm going to win. I'm going to have desires and I'm going to, and I'm going to surrender.
It goes back to surrender. You're going to surrender to what it is and what it could be and allow what it could be.
And then we're actually what I call the magical playground, in that there's all the equipment, there's all the lessons, there's all the possibilities there for us to heal, but also to live. It lives together. Like, I don't believe that when you're healing, that you're not also expanding and loving and creating. I don't see them as
one or the other.
Yeah,
they're kind of blended.
Healing and living are together. Like I said in the bit that you read before, it's like I'm healed and I'm healing. I've grieved and I'm grieving.
I love that. I think that when my father died, something changed, probably because the preparation I had of the 3 friends that died before him. Maybe they were my teachers, but I call it the seesaw of grief. And that and sometimes, like when you're in the playground, it could be all at the top, and it could be the worst pain in the world. Honey. Okay. Anyway, it could be work on that. Anyway, it could be the worst amount of pain. But then it comes down, and then it's okay. It's just a little pain, a little joy, a little pain, a little joy. And then it's the greatest amount of joy when I have memories or I really feel his presence. And my heart is so full that I'm so lucky that I had him as my papa.
Yeah.
But then it can do that.
Yeah.
And I can hold both.
Yeah.
I can hold pain and I can hold joy.
And when we deny the swing up on the seesaw, where we don't allow it to come up to the pain of the grief, when we don't go there, what we're actually also doing, not only are we denying that full expression of the grief and the lessons to learn there, we're also minimizing how far it can come up the other side. So if you minimize your experience of grief, everyone listen to this, please. If you minimize your experience of grief, you will automatically minimize your experience of joy.
Joy. Okay, that one more time.
If you minimize your experience of grief, because it's one extreme of our energetic heart, then you will minimize your experience of joy. If you only go this far with your grief, then you can only go this far with your joy. If you want to go all the way to the full swing, it means you build capacity to go all the way to the full swing for your joy. It's not immediate, like you don't get it immediately, like you said in your process. It's like it swings.
You don't, and it might hang out here. Yeah.
And that die is big life magic.
Oh, that's big life magic and chooky.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, I want everyone, I could talk to you forever, so we might have to do part 2, but I want to know what you're up to, what classes you have, events, your global coaching, your new book, where people can find you. So let the people know.
Please. The most exciting thing that I want to share is Big Life Magic Makers, the virtual community that we've been referencing. Next Tuesday, the 27th, we have an open house. So anyone who's either been with us before or never been in a magic circle,
or anyone here, yeah.
Anybody here can come, and we're having an open house with different magic activations and breakout rooms. There's prizes. It's going to be really fun as a way of like introducing people to the community, because I think for some people they're like, I don't know what happens there. What's it like?
You got a shout out from Lauren Kretschmann.
Yes, Lauren's been with us in the Big Life Magic Makers. So that's happening next Tuesday. Everyone's invited. It's 7 p.m. Eastern time, which means the Australians can come too. It'll just be your next
Yay! Juki. Yeah. Jody, you can go. 7 p.m. next Tuesday. Maybe you give me the link later and I'll put it on the chat.
Yeah. And also the link is in my bio at
Big
Life Magic.
In her bio. Brilliant.
Yeah. And anything around my books, my work,
everything will be there.
It's all there in the link in the bio, or you can go to biglifemagic.com and just play across the website. That's also where some of my other writing is, the different blog and short stories.
I love it. And everyone, I've got to tell you, get the book. Get the book. It's just so beautiful. Yeah. And I want to thank you. Everyone, don't leave because I'm going to do a final wrap up. But I know Deb has to leave, so I want to thank you so much for your time, for your, maybe now I'm going to cry, for your wisdom, for your insight, for your vulnerability, for your curiosity, for your immense ability to hold space of grief and love. You've taught me so much, and I know I have a lot to learn, but you've really taught me so much, and I'm hoping that here Only now, hold on, let's see what Jody has to say. When people share their grief stories, it shows to the world that they are still beautiful life experiences to be lived.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for sharing. Only now with a heart cracked wide open.
Yeah.
And actually, the interesting thing about that, before you go, is, you know, we say that when we've lost someone, oh, you know, my heart, you know, even the emojis, like my heart is shattered into pieces. But Jody, that visual that you just gave us all of your heart cracked open when you're enduring loss is maybe allowing the light to shine in,
Yeah.
to let it breathe, to let it breathe,
Yeah.
right? I love you, Deb. I love the book. Oh, Rita loves the book. She's stuck on page 2. Thank you for the words in your heart. I
Yeah.
mean, I think everyone here that came on is grieving. I have so many beautiful people that could really learn from you. So everyone, I want you to follow Deb. Don't leave because I'm going to do a quick wrap up. And Deb, I love you. I am so grateful for your time and your beauty and your love.
Thank you. Love you. I'll see
To
you
be
on a dance
continued.
floor
See you
someday
on the dance
soon, or a
floor.
magic Zoom room.
Yeah.
Thank you, Di. Thank you, everybody, for bringing your heart and your listening. Big love.
My girlfriend Kim just came on. I love you. We'll talk soon. So
Bye.
everyone stay on so I can just do a quick wrap up. And you just, there you go. Oh, everyone say hi to Kim. Kim Darwin in the house. All right, that was beautiful. We're going to wrap up. That was unbelievably beautiful. If anyone's coming in at the end, just when I hit play, rewind it. It's a really powerful. Kim, you'll love it. She's a beautiful author of an incredible book. And I think in wrapping up, because we all have things to do, I think Kim, M. Shells is in the house. M. Shells, Rita, Karen, Kim Darwin. Everyone say hi to Kim Darwin. I think the most important thing that we can all learn is everyone in the world is grieving. Everyone is, Lauren, it was an honor to have you here. Everyone in the world is grieving. We all have people in our life that come in and then eventually leave, whether it's a grandfather, a lover, a puppy, whatever it might be. And I think for me, I'm very much trying to navigate thank you, Jaja. I'm trying to navigate what grief looks like. I am writing a book about grief, and it's going to be called Goodbye, Hello. Hello, Michelle. And it's about how we learn about developing a new relationship with the ones that we've lost. Like, what if it could be a continued relationship? What does that look like? And it's going to be a series of storytelling, and it's going to be interviews with people like Chef Jason, Deb D, maybe Rita will be in my book, but it will be really inviting, and it will be really all about that word curiosity. And I love that because I've never heard of grief in my notes. In my notes, chatting with Di, I've never heard of grief and curiosity put together. And I think that's something that we can all sit with. Like, what if when we were going through grief, we could just try and be curious to whatever might come up. And then the other thing, and what I do when I talk about grief, is that it's like a seesaw, right? So you're going to have moments when it's going to be like, fuck, shit, no. You know, like, I feel this pain. I miss my papa. I want him here now. And then it's going to have moments where you're just like, okay, yeah, I know he's in heaven and I'm here on earth and we're okay. And then there's going to be moments of incredible joy where I'm like, I am so lucky that I had that man to love me and be my papa. How lucky am I? So, Christy says, I did find hearts everywhere since my dad passed, and that's where I keep him alive after he passed. I mean, I definitely think signs are a huge thing. Yeah, so we could go on forever, but I'm going to end. I always begin with the production team are on vacation. I'm on my own here. I begin with a song, and that was Stevie Wonder in the Keys of Life, If It's Magic, because Deb D's program is Big Life, Big Magic, how we transform big losses into big magic. M-shells, I mean, totally, they're everywhere. We have to look. Now Karen wants to dance. So I wanted to find music that had the word magic, because this is all about creating big magic in our life while we're grieving. So what am I going to put on? If you name the song, you win a trip for 2 to Hawaii. Hold on. Jody said, instead of asking, why did this happen, you can ask, what can I learn and how might I grow from this? Open-handed grief is where so much healing happens. Jody is a beautiful, beautiful woman that I've learned so much, and is a mother who has lost a child. And so we all have learned a lot. So let's go back to the magic. Oh, I got a lot of Hawaii people here. All right, you all win a trip to Hawaii. And you win Hawaii. You win Hawaii. Find the magic, people. Just find the magic. Yeah, you are, Rita. Roll up for the mystery tour. New tour. They find the magic, people. Life is hard. There's a lot of shit out there. We all need it. We don't need it. We all know it. You open the news, you don't open the news. You live in New York, you live wherever. There's a lot of hard stuff. Find the magic. Find it. Love you all. Gotta go. Bye. Gotta go find my magic.